My comment says anything to us, economy. Oh, you know what? I think the osprey is really unbalanced because I don't think about it being unbalanced. I think it's been a thing. But now, you're saying on housing on shit, like on countries and stuff, and you house on them, and then you just house on them, and then and what happens is you house on them, and then after that. Now, you can say, now with that, you can say, but the ospreys are just unbalanced, you know what I mean? I'm talking about $1 trillion, and they're saying the technologies that went into it and how Lockheed Martin invested in what put the technologies into. But now the private schools, and what they're talking about is they're talking about why Lockheed Martin graduated from MIT, and why they say, oh, what are you talking about? No, he transferred over to Stanford, right? And now with that, you say, well, what are you talking about? You got to remember, if you go to Berkeley and you study from Boho College, or if you study engineering from Davis, right? You're talking about two different types of technologies. You're talking about Sirius and you're talking about XM. Now, with those technologies, you have to understand what the purposes are behind the technologies of the engineers who make these technologies. Now, with that, you take an ideology of saying, well, look, I believe in such and such, and the bamboozling that you have been through in the hood and whatnot, and what people are trying to represent you as about, when you just what exactly you're clowning about, and you basically correlate that, and you already make that connection. You make it. You go, yeah. And if you ask me, I'm like, I forgot. I'm like, and what I'm thinking about is arbitrarily, I'm thinking about how Lockheed Martin can make such a capability where they make they restore B-52, but they're not. They make them lighter in capability and call them B-12s and something like that. And what happens is they have a higher capacity weight load. What do you call it? As for what they call carpet bombers. And what happens is, and what they did is, so what happens is when you have an XM satellite, and when you take that from the private schools and you take these engineering classes, and they say, oh well, we want to do this, and for FAA and from NASA's and airspaces, and they say, well, if these airspaces are airspaces, then this is a no-fly zone airspace. And so what happens is when you take that from a public school in Berkeley, they're like, no, we don't believe in that, but we're about it because we kind of have to be, you know what I mean? And they say, well, that's when you have the conflict, because you have the person saying, well, that's not right. They're selling technology to NASA's, right? And such and right now. Lockheed Martin is selling these, what do you call it? Heat sinker infrared radar, the best you can have, like right now. You know what I mean? And so what do you call it? To these entities that are saying, well, that are beyond their moral scope of rationality. So the individual itself puts himself in a conflicted mode to say, well, I don't know, I should be like that. Where you have the private schools and they're like, well, nah, ospreys need to be bounded on that level. They need to fix that drag versus rotation versus lift, and that's it. So that's it, and that's a wrap on Henny.
Taking this guy out in Baghdad. Well,